I say this about the people that play this game on the Survivor sometimes, but it's slowly moving towards the devs where some of these developers that are actually designing this game, dude, I'm getting to the point where I'm genuinely convinced they could smash the fucking heads against a brick wall and gain IQ points from it. Because it's getting insane. It's actually getting insane. I don't know how you can be this actually clueless about the game you're designing. Assuming that's the case, whenever you go within 20 meters of an hook, that 0 to 10 second timer starts. I shouldn't have to fucking do this shit in a PvP game, dude. Fucking hell. Because then you literally just... They've just... Oh, fuck me, dude. Right, okay. Let me just say this now, right? So, up here... You're not going to see this because there's going to be gameplay over it. Ah, there it is. Okay, right. Dev note. The ability to recover while crawling in the previous PTV made crawling away always the right choice. This made it difficult for the killer to find and hook survivors who were only slugged briefly. We've removed this from the base kit, so survivors must choose between staying still and recovering or crawling away so the killer cannot find them. Or, in layman's terms, ladies and gentlemen, just fucking run tenacity, mate. Gradual increase of lock-on will feel more natural and provide feedback to the survivor that something bad is happening to them. Oh, fucking hell, man. Do you know the weird, funny thing? I mean, it's not funny. It's actually very fucking depressing. As somebody that genuinely wants Evolve to be revived. The ASIM that actually put the ASIM genre on the map initially. If that game was ever to be revived, I don't even want to think about it, to be honest, because they'd be literally, the entire screen would be lit up like a fucking Chinese website. Like, literally saying, the monster's coming, it's over there, it's feeding over there, it's coming over there, it's attacking, it's sniffing in this direction, oh shit, don't go near it, you know? Fucking hell. That's fucking hilarious, man. The gradual increase of lock-on will feel more natural and provide feedback to the survivor at the cost of the killer's entire fucking power that something bad is happening to them. Fucking hell, man. I'm telling you, man. February 15th, 2015. Evolve's released. 6-7 months. 6-7 months of just bliss. Fucking bliss, you know? People manned up. They died in the video game against monsters. They lived with it. They got on with it. They queued next. They adapted. They adapted to certain monsters. Monster players adapted to hunter strategies. Barely anybody complained. Nobody was begging to have their hand held. And then one night, ladies and gentlemen, as I've said this numerous times on camera, because it's something I'm slowly being convinced by the fabric of reality happened. I went to sleep one night, and I woke up in an alternate timeline, where everything just went wrong overnight in this genre. Overnight, it went wrong. Evolve suddenly started to die, suddenly died, and then this shit occurred, disappeared. This fucking waste of a genre appeared, and we've gone nowhere for 9 years. Almost 9.5 years in the making, ladies and gentlemen. The date is the 4th of November, 2025. We are 2 weeks away from the first step in the death of this game. And we're going to read through the patch notes, basically, and we're going to do the usual thoughts. I'll stick some gameplay over it for you. But yeah, this is where we are now actually just actively trying to kill the game. So get ready for Blight Nurse Ghoul meta. So we'll have a little read through from people that don't play video games and are unfortunately in a developmental role. So they begin by saying features. So here we go. Tunneling reduction update, ladies and gentlemen. The shit that doesn't need to fucking exist and is solely here because a lot of people just won't fucking man up and understand what a PvP game is. Added custom match options to enable, disable this feature. Right, we're going to kick this off by just saying a little bit about this as well. That's actually very funny, considering that's the literal first line of the patch notes, that you can actually disable this shit in customs, because they already know that it is complete stupid shit and just dog shit game design, right? Because you are essentially locking 80% of the killer roster with this patch out of playing the game. We saw it on stream, where we had the Meg that was literally just promoted by the devs from jumping off the hook, having wall axe on the killer, and literally just inserting herself in the chase. The problem that has been rampant in this game for fucking months now, with the advent of off the record, dead ads, you know, people just literally jumping in chase and using all these supposed anti-tunnel mechanics and weaponizing them to use them as benefits, and benefits in a lot of situations where the killer will lose the game when they are used. But we still haven't learned our lesson, because again, with this company, we don't play the killer role when we're testing it. We're just listening to Twitter and not actually playing the fucking video game. But anyway, Unhook protections update. So this is the next part. This is the bit where it's all going to start going downhill. Survivors that are unhooked or unhook themselves, so they can even do this shit with fucking deliverance, or, you know, if you're within that fucking 20-meter thing that we know about with the anti-camp, receive unhook protections for 30 seconds, half a minute, ladies and gentlemen. That's a third of a generator, which include 10% speed hacks with haste, endurance, iframes, elusive, which is basically Iron Will, Lucky Break, no scratch marks, Pain Aura, you know, anything, basically. Literally fucking invisible, unless you've got direct line of sight of them. The sound design in this game is already fucking terrible anyway, and they basically have this anyway, because whenever a survivor goes behind a wall or anything like that, which still hasn't been fixed, the borderline a lot of the time are just silent. So yeah, the survivor makes no sounds. They've said that twice again. I don't know why they're fucking listing that twice. Immunity to AFK crows, probably the only thing that you need. Because I don't know why they're getting AFK crows when they're on the hook. That's just bad game design. The survivor will see the killer's aura within 32 meters for 10 seconds. That's your wall axe. So you just literally see where the killer is for 10 seconds within a 32 meter range. The survivor is still susceptible to attacks and powers. Oh, fucking hell, thank God. Thank God, you know. Fucking hell. Thank God we can actually attack somebody that's been unhooked into my fucking face, rather than having to objectively ignore them because it's mean if I actually punish sloppy play in the fucking PvP game. These effects linger for 3 seconds after being healed for a full health state. Wow, okay. I don't think that was in the stream. From an iframes state, I'm assuming this is going to harm Billy, and it's going to harm Bubba. Anybody that insta-downs, I think, because they'll still get, because they've got the endurance at full health, it'll injure them, but they won't go down. I think that's how it'd work in that instance. So yeah, especially fuck you to Billy then, actually, because that's actually 13 seconds then, innit? If it means... So these effects linger for... It says these effects linger for 3 seconds after being healed for a full health state. Unless that... hang on. No. Right, okay. So... This is a sort of halfway lie to what they actually said in the stream. So what this actually means is if they heal them under the hook when they get unhooked, it then lingers on them anyway for 3 seconds. They still get that elusive for 3 seconds. They still get that 10% haste for 3 seconds afterwards. In the stream, they said that this would actually vanish as soon as he went to the full health state. But 3 seconds in game time, when you've got gen speeds as quick as they are, that is still an unaddressed issue. That's actually quite a long time, so that's a fucking lie. These effects are lost when performing a conspicuous action that's working on generators or healing another survivor, or doing anything that interacts with the environment. So that's good, I suppose. So you just can't do anything for that amount of time, but it still doesn't fix the weaponizing issue. Which is the main issue, at least for me anyway, why I don't like all this kind of shit, because it's just literally rewarding brain dead players and fucking TikTok content creators and Twitch fucking gremlins. These effects are disabled when all generators are completed, except for the 10% haste and endurance status effects, which will only last 10 seconds only. Only 10 seconds, boys. Only 10 seconds. Oh, fucking hell. Only 10 seconds. Do you know how long it takes any non-traversal killer to actually catch up to people? And this is with, in the end games, granted that you're not just literally camping in the end game. If you're not, if you decide to go for another chase, if they unhook themselves with deliverance that doesn't deactivate at end game, which does actually happen, we're not going to fucking sit here dismissing it. Oh, it only happens once every 500 games. Bollocks. No, it doesn't. There's a lot of people running deliverance these days because it's literally just unhook yourself for free. So they get off the hook whilst you're chasing that the survivor that you assumed would be the last survivor. I had this happen very recently to me in a game. They've got 10% endurance, 10% haste and endurance that only lasts for 10 seconds. So they're out that fucking gate, mate. They're out that gate. There's no counterplay to it. They're out the fucking gate. Even for Huntress, the ranged killer, even if she cross-maps snipes, she demonstrates skill. Don't fucking mean anything. 10% of iframes, straight out the fucking gate. PvP gaming, ladies and gentlemen. The fucking death of it is happening right in front of our eyes. Fucking hell, dude. That is absolutely fucking ridiculous. These effects are disabled when all generators are completed, except for the 10% haste and endurance, the two fucking problematic ones. Because 10% haste is also actually the same speed as Huntress and any sort of ranged killer. Hag is still 110 and she's not even fucking ranged, you know? Fuck me. Right, DevNote, let's have a look. Let's see what these fucking maestros think, eh? Let's have a look at the... let's be talked down to by the people that don't play the video game they're designing. We've reduced the Killer Aura reveal duration to limit a survivor's ability to plan aggressive saves. Mate, they don't fucking need it. Oh my god. You've got the terror radius coming towards you. You've got the literal 10 seconds you're going to get of it anyway. Hang on a minute. We've reduced the Killer Aura duration to limit a survivor's ability. Reduced it. 30 seconds. Reduced. Or was this used to be... Did this used to be 60 seconds? I don't even know what the fucking first iteration of this was now. 30 seconds is still fucking too much anyway. Said that from the very beginning. Off the record's been a fucking problem since its fucking inception. But, you know, Survivor thing, innit? Okay, so they've reduced the Killer Aura duration to limit a survivor's ability to plan aggressive saves. So this is gaslighting. Because they're trying to make it out that they are considering the killer side of the gameplay when they've literally just give them iframes out the gate in the end game. So, yeah. Sure. Reveal the duration to limit a survivor's ability to plan aggressive saves while under the effects of unhook protections. Yeah, what was actually getting out there as well, what first started that little bit there was they don't need the aura reading to plan the aggressive save. They don't, mate. They just fucking run in because there's no fucking downside to it or any of it anymore. Because you're literally slapping iframes on everything, giving them perks that reverse fucking hook states, you know, giving them second chances for being fucking shit at the game. This isn't PvP gaming, fellas, anymore. It's a hand-holding simulator designed for content creation by very fucking shit streamers that don't have any sort of selling point other than to be, dude, bro, look at this loop, fucking hell, bro, look at this, look, all this fucking mentally fucking draining brain rot that they fucking clone themselves like fucking sheep around. It's destroyed the game, dude. And I'll always fucking say it will because it has. I've been here since 2016. This game, when it first came out, had so much fucking promise going for it, and it's the same fucking thing every single time we get an ASIM, dude. We just can't fucking help ourselves but fucking destroy good things. It does me fucking head in, dude. We will closely monitoring these. We will be closely monitoring these during the PTB and look forward to the feedback. But you won't be, will you? Because you never fucking do anything with PTBs. Sorry, I missed a sentence. Additionally, we've removed the no collision effect from the unhook protections to prevent survivors from phasing ahead of the killer to use their unhook protections aggressively. Right. We will closely yeah, we will closely be monitoring the PTB, which they won't be because they never fucking do. Unique hook bonuses. These were basically nothing. When hooking a survivor that is different from the last hook survivor, the killer gains the following: Bloodlust tier 1 for 15 seconds. Dog shit should have just been haste. This bonus is reset when entering a chase. Doesn't even fucking mean anything then. This bonus is disabled when all generators are completed. So we lose hours. We lose hours on the killer side of things, fellas, whenever the last generator is completed, but they get 10% speed axe and iframes, you know, because again, hand holding. A 10% blood points multiplier on the match score at the end of the trial. I don't know whether they mentioned that on the stream. They said it was 750 BP, but that 10%'s not too bad, but it should be about 50 to 75. Dev note, here we go again. In the previous PTB, the killer bonuses were complex and had many layers with her. They also made... What was it? Was it base kit pop that they all had a fucking issue with, so we removed it instantly? Is that what it was? I think it was, wasn't it? Base kit pop and base kit barbecue that was too much like hand-holding, apparently, for the killers. You know, the two changes that actually incentivise the killer leaving the hook to get that little bonus on the gen they might have needed to regress, or seeing where the rest of the survivors were and seeing where ones that were isolated were to go for them, you know, actually encouraging them to go away from the hook. No, remove that. But the killers are still the bastards, you know, for then when the bonuses are removed, staying near the hook, they're still the bastards. So in the previous PTB, the killer bonuses were complex and had many layers. They also made killer gameplay very linear. So hook, kick gen, down next survivor, rinse and repeat. Right, okay. So very linear. Interesting. So very linear is hooking survivors, going away from the hook, not camping, going away from the hook to kick a generator, and then down in the next survivor. Again, not being anywhere near that hooked survivor, not camping, not proxy camping, going for a fresh chase, an healthy fresh chase, doing the objective, your side objective as well of patrolling gens, going over to the other generator to kick that generator, and also chasing another survivor, you know, the patch where we're trying to stop camping, not camping, just to exaggerate one more time, not camping, rinse and repeat. So yeah, not camping hooks. That's apparently very linear. Fucking hell, dude. Make it make sense. Make it actually make sense, dude. They just don't make any sense anymore, these devs. They really do not make any sense anymore, dude. Like, everything they're saying is just complete, like, just complete shit. I'm sorry, but it is. They don't know what they're talking about. They also made killer gameplay very linear. Hook, kick a gen, hook a survivor, go away from the hook when we're trying to stop people standing in front of hooks, right, camping, to kick a generator that's elsewhere, and then down the next survivor whenever they find the next survivor when they're actively going over to their objective, doing the actual objective instead of just standing in front of the hooks, the thing we're trying to stop, you know. Literally just stopping what we were trying to stop with this. That's very linear. Fuck me. To retain player agency in the unexpected moments, we've simplified the bonuses to only one, gaining bloodlust. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. Literally does not fucking do anything. So now, there is now, again, no incentive for the killer to leave the hook. Because it's not a reward. What's the point of hooking a survivor, right, and getting bloodlust tier 1, which is, I don't know what the percentage of tier 1 actually is. I know it's not that much of an increase, though. I think it's like 2 or 3% haste, is it? Something like that. For 15 seconds, but then the bonus is reset when entering a chase. So you lose it when you enter a fresh chase anyway. So what's the point? It's basically just a speed up away from the hook. But you're speeding me up away from the hook when I don't fucking need to. Because I'm still getting my bonus removed. It's fucking... They don't know what they're doing, dude. They don't know what they're doing. Don't fucking deserve to be at the top of this genre. I keep saying it, boys. There needs to be more people. I'm starting to see other streamers now sharing the same sentiment, fellas. Like, I am seeing it, that there's other people, like, doing the same sort of videos that I do, where it's just, like complaining about the game all the time, because I'm trying to make people see how shit the killer side of this game is getting, dude. Because it's getting genuinely insane now. And as I say, there are other people now slowly coming forward and doing this type of content, but fucking hell, boys, it's took you a long time to realise this. It really has. Like, this, these devs just don't deserve to be where we are, dude. We had Evolve in this genre, dude, and now we're here, where a literal hand-holding meta is being forced into the game for shit Survivor players, rather than it being a case of actually learning how to play the fucking game, you know? Which is the very nature of PvP gaming. Your first few games in a PvP gaming are going to be rough. You are going to die. It is fucking nature, you know? That was a very low plane, if you heard that. So why Bloodlust, they ask? This is a bit, you know, again, listen to the tone. This is where they're going to talk down to you, like they always do with the player base. Why Bloodlust? Because haste stacked with killer powers, yeah, that was one of the principal benefits and what made it actually interesting. Which made stronger killers even stronger, widening the gap between them and weaker killers. So what we've basically done is we've basically just said, the weaker killers, fuck them, get rid of them then. Just make them completely invalidated, rather than giving them the actual bonus. The problem with this, ladies and gentlemen, and the reason why this is the perspective they've seen here, they've teetered it the wrong way. Because obviously this is the elephant in the room. They're talking about Blight and Nurse in this instance, mate. With Blight's built-in move speed, the way that with how fast Blight can sprint in this game, mate, Bloodlust or Haste for 5% is not going to make a blind bit of fucking difference on Blight. It doesn't matter. Yeah, if Blight's going to fucking run at you, he's going to run at you and he's going to catch you. The Bloodlust and the Haste has nothing to fucking do with it at all. You know, it literally doesn't mean anything to him. The same with Nurse. You know, if Nurse has got aura reading and she knows where you are and she's going to blink through walls, no. Bloodlust, Haste, nothing to do with it at all. So all you've done here is basically thought, oh, but we're not going to put this in because this will negatively affect or benefit Blight or Nurse or the fast killers, Ghoul as well. When it actually won't. It won't make any difference because those killers are already fast. So you've basically just turned around and said, nah, we're not doing this, so fuck all the weaker killers. Which in the current game state as well is about 80% of the killer roster now. The reason why we're only ever seeing Blight, Nurses and Ghouls being played. Dude, I'm genuinely convinced at this point, like, I say this about the people that play this game on the Survivor sometimes, but it's slowly moving towards the devs where some of these developers that are actually designing this game, dude, I'm getting to the point where I'm genuinely convinced they could smash the fucking heads against a brick wall and gain IQ points from it. Because it's getting insane. It's actually getting insane. I don't know how you can be this actually clueless about the game you're designing. Other than the conclusion, the usual conclusion that I always say and what other people have started saying, that they don't play it. They literally do not playtest it at all. Because they've got no clue what's going on at all whatsoever. A fast killer, not even Dead by Daylight, right? Not even Dead by Daylight. In any video game, right? A character that is fast at base kit, right, is not going to be asked about things that speed it up. You know, it's just not, like, they don't give a shit about it. They don't need it. So even though they're getting it, it's not going to make it feel any different at all because they're still fast. Again, you'd know this if you played one fucking round of your game. Oh, fucking hell, dude. 9 years we've had this shit and it's just going down the fucking toilet. Where was it up to? Gap between them and weak killers. Reusing Bloodlust means that killers who use their power, here we go, Nurse Ghoul. Interesting, we haven't mentioned Blight. Will lose the bonus. Oh, yeah, because it disables when you use powers as well, doesn't it? But yeah, this is also on everybody else. So to put this into perspective for you as well, right? This means that Huntress will lose it as soon as she pulls a hatchet out, when she's readying the hatchet, because that counts as her using her power. Artist will lose it whenever she gets ready to spawn a bird. I'm convinced that Singularity, whenever he's either aiming to fire a biopod or looking through a biopod, he will lose that as well. Who's another one? Hag will lose it just by placing a trap on the ground when she draws the symbols in the mud. Trapper will lose it whenever he places a bear trap. Wraith will lose this whenever he rings his fucking bell. Hillbilly will lose this whenever he starts to ready his chainsaw. Hillbilly being one of the more skill-dependent fast killers. Clown will lose this whenever he pulls a bottle out, readies a bottle to throw it, you know. You get the idea, you know. Literally any killer power that's being used, unknown, whenever he, you know, pulls the thing out of his neck to start firing it at the survivors when he readies the EVX, that will disable it. Anything like that, you know. So it's fucking non-existent. It's literally non-existent. You'll get no fucking use out of this whatsoever, and that's the unique hook bonuses. Remember when we had what I mentioned earlier, where it was a case of we had base kit pop and we had base kit barbecue, you know, the two actual tools that would make people not camp hooks because they'd get rewarded for the next gen that they kicked by regressing it enough to, you know, at least apply pressure and also get aura reading on survivors that are on the other side of the map. You know, so then they'd have another target on the table to go for. No, now we've just removed that. We've got no auras. We don't fucking know where anybody is. We don't have any bonuses on the gen kick. I'm not going to be arsed kicking that gen then, and I'm not going to go looking for anybody else. I'm going to stand in front of that fucking hook, and I'm going to watch them die on the hook. Because if I don't do that, the gens fucking fly, mate. And they still do anyway, because even if you do that, if it's a team that actually knows that that is actually throwing the game as the killer, and it preys upon the survivors literally just standing around like a bunch of fucking apes, staring at it, instead of actually just going back and doing the objective and taking the one player as a sacrifice kind of thing, and getting 3 of you out of the match, instead of all just dying, because you're just literally standing there expecting the killer to move so that person just dies on hook. Then there's 3 of you alive with 5 gens left, and then you find out that, oh shit, now we can't actually do it, you know? And then that's when they all, you know, go to Twitter and start crying about it, and that's the situation we're now in the game with, dude. It's a fucking skill issue. I've been saying it for ages. It's literally just bone idleness, this, dude, that's got us to this state. It's people that don't know how to play PvP games and they're fucking ruining it. Perks. So these are the ones that have been changed to facilitate the new haste changes, bloodlust changes, whatever. Following perks have been updated. See the perk update section below for more details. So they've changed Furtive Chase for Killer. Furtive Chase was the one where you'd hook a survivor. I think it was was it the obsession based one? I remember using this briefly. I only ever use like 4 perks in this game these days because it's the only fucking thing that works anymore. There's very little room for any kind of build diversity on Killer anymore. But Furtive Chase, I believe, is the one where you hook a survivor. And if it's the obsession, you gain undetectable for 30 seconds and also 5% haste, I think it is. It's the one that rewards you for going for unique hooks on the obsession, I think. It's the Ghostface perk. Survivor, Babysitter, Borrowed Time, Breakdown, Off the Record, and Wicked. Okay, I doubt we've changed Off the Record for the better, have we? But, you know, that's one of the most problematic ones. Slugging reduction update, here we go. So this is where you can't actually slug them for pressure anymore either. You can't in-cap a survivor because, you know, goldfish. We can't be on the ground for longer than 2 seconds because we need to make our TikTok, Twitch content. So self-recovery. So after being down by the killer, the resolve bar appears. The resolve bar takes 120 seconds to fill. Progress does not reset between downs. So if you repeatedly down them, they just get this. This is a blanket 120 seconds to fill, basically. So you can't repeatedly down them for pressure. So no matter how badly they run them loops, no matter how outpositioned they are, no matter that you're at 1 gen with about 2 hooks because the team knows how to loop, and you need to actually just slug people to actually have pressure, a consistent and actually meaningful game mechanic in the time-based fucking ASIM. Now, it is basically not going to be possible anymore because you've got a 120 second bar that will fill between downs as well. So when that 120 second bar fills, it will fill hang on a minute, developing. The resolve bar fills 33% faster for each additional survivor currently in dying state as well, so it's also buffed if there's multiple slugs on the ground. I've spoke about this personally. I don't slug more than one survivor because I just don't think it's needed, to be honest. Although, you know, due to the recent gen speeds and all that kind of stuff, I've been considering it. But yeah, in fast gen games, I've always slugged one survivor and tried to get another on the hook because it does provide consistent slowdown, and perks like Unbreakable and all that kind of stuff already exist in the game that were answers to this playstyle. But now we've just given it all base kit again because, you know, tourists that shouldn't be playing PvP games. Once the resolve bar is full, the survivor gains the ability to pick themselves up from the dying state for the rest of the match. There you go. Note the survivor must fully recover each time. So this is, yeah, every 120 seconds, but it can be infinitely used. So it's infinite unbreakable, basically. Infinite unbreakable. It just takes 120 seconds for it to fill. So I'm assuming they haven't changed unbreakable, so unbreakable is just basically a fast pass to this. But yeah, and there it is again at the bottom as well, ladies and gentlemen. Added a custom game setting to disable this feature because they know how fucking dumb it is, and they don't want this this type of mechanic to make their game look shit on the stage when they're doing the comp scene, you know, competitive and all that kind of stuff, because it is a bad and unhealthy design choice. But, you know, we design for Twitter rather than game health. Dev note, to better target the extreme cases, we've increased the base time taken to fill the resolve bar and added a stacking speed bonus for each additional survivor in the dying state. This will make the mechanic more lenient in matches with little to no slugging and cause it to kick in sooner in matches with a lot of slugging. This will make the mechanic more lenient in matches with little to no slugging. Yeah, but it's not going to mean anything if they're not slugging. Like, this is literally all slugging. So matches with no slugging in it has nothing to do with it. Little to no slugging is... all this is, basically, just to summarise it, fellas, these 5 points here, or 4 points, because obviously the last one's just disabling in customs. This is basically just... everybody's basically just got base... everybody just got base kit, unbreakable, an 120 second window. So to do slugging now, you basically just have a 2-minute window, essentially. You have 2 minutes when you down somebody to go and find somebody else, and then they'll just pick themselves up. Basically, that's all this is, literally. As long as you're not slugging multiple of them, you know, because then it obviously buffs it. Yeah, it's an 120 second window. As I said in the past, personally for me, slugging reduction isn't as bad as the tunneling one above, because as I say, I don't necessarily slug a lot. I only do it when I'm in dire need of pressure. I always have done. And again, just to something else that fucking annoys me with this game as well, as I sit here and say this, I'm not saying I don't slug on the killer side of things because I'm considering my opponent's feelings in a PvP game. I do it because it doesn't benefit me. Yeah, because we're here to play the game, fellas. You know, we're here to play the killer. That's the job description. Clues in the fucking title. You know, you're here to kill the survivors. That's the game. The survivors are here to survive you. You know, that kind of stuff. Likewise, yeah. I don't go into a game to cater to their experience. It's something that I've seen other killer streamers go on about, and it's disingenuous and fucking fake, dude. It's like, just play the fucking PvP game. Dying state. Crawling speed increases over time when left in the dying state from 0.7 meters to 1.05 meters a second. This is kind of base kit tenacity, I think. The ability to recover while crawling in the previous PTV made crawling away always the right choice. This made it difficult for the killer to find the Unhook survivors who were only slugged briefly. Yeah, we've removed this from the base kit, so survivors must choose between staying still and recovering or crawling away so the killer cannot find them. Yeah. Yeah, basically, yeah. A rare moment of sense in that particular paragraph. So perks, yeah, it was. They've changed tenacity. It's basically base kit tenacity, in a sense. Hook improvements, quality of life. Fuck me, what's this now? The last time they did this, fellas, do you remember, boys? The last time we had a quality of life change, and it was just literally fucking pallets all over the map with zero gameplay. Remember that? So now we've done something to hooks. Good fucking lord, brace yourself. What's this now? The resolve bar is now visible to other survivors while hooked. Okay, it's not actually something to do with hooks. That's fine. Dev note to help bridge the information gap between survivors using voice chat and those who aren't. We've added the resolve bar to the HUD. This will help survivors determine if the killer is camping and planning their next move accordingly. Right, solo queue improvement then. Yeah, just solo queue improvement. Balance, the anti-facecamp meter now fills, just to clarify as well, ladies and gentlemen, the anti-facecamp meter, this is the resolve bar. I don't know why they keep fucking doing this, just giving it a different name every different fucking paragraph they announce in the patch notes. The anti-facecamp meter now fills faster based on how long the killer stays near the hook. 0 to 10 seconds, 1 speed, 10 to 20 seconds, double speed, and longer than 20 seconds, quadruple speed. The multiplier only accumulates when the killer is considered camping. The meter is gaining progress. The multiplier resets when the survivor is unhooked. Okay. So have we done anything, just before I read below, about the situation that will be exploited, because this has already been exploited in the past, where somebody will be on the hook, and survivors will be looping the killer next to the hook. Does that consider the killer camping in that particular instance? Because if it does, that is blatant bad fucking game design right there, because it will be abused. So decreased the base fill rate of the anti-facecamp meter by roughly 50% to compensate. So they've slowed it down, but it also just speeds up as well. So 50%, I don't think that really does anything, to be honest, because it still speeds up anyway. So moving it down by 50% ain't going to mean anything. Increase the range of the anti-camp zone to 20 meters was 16, yes. So this right here, somebody did a demonstration of this. I think it was JC Glitchmaster again, actually, where on indoor maps like RPD, the game, all that kind of stuff, if you're stood upstairs, you will be camping that hook if you go upstairs within 20 meters, because it's a 20-meter distance from the hook. Yeah, so whenever you're upstairs, you're looking for other survivors. If there's somebody on the hook downstairs or upstairs, depending on what floor you're on. Yeah, so if you're upstairs, or downstairs, whatever floor you're on, all that kind of stuff, you're camping. Hooking a survivor now applies a 7-second grace period to all hooked survivors. Was only for the last hooked survivor. This is the grace period where all of this shit doesn't kick in for 7 seconds, I think, around the hook. So essentially what you could think of it as is 7-second grace period, so 0 to 17 seconds, then it's at first speed, and then, 17 to 27 seconds, all that kind of stuff. So dev note to make the anti-camp face mechanic fairer for both sides. We've reduced the base fill rate and added the time the killer remains near the hook as a modifier. This gives killers who are not camping more freedom to pass by the hook. What? Right, okay, hang on a minute. Right, okay. So, going back to the top point, the anti-facecamp meter now filters based on how long the killer stays near the hook. Okay, so being near the hook, I assume, and I'm having to put it together here, because again, they're not actually explaining this. I'm having to put it together like a fucking jigsaw puzzle, but what I'm getting for this is, if the killer goes near the hook, and near is the key word in this particular instance, ladies and gentlemen, I assume, and this is where the jigsaw part comes into it, is the range of the anti-camp face zone, the 20 meters, right? Because again, they're not clarifying this. So, assuming that's the case, whenever you go within 20 meters of an hook, that 0 to 10 second timer starts. I shouldn't have to fucking do this shit in a PvP game, dude. Fucking hell. So whenever you go within 20 meters of the hook, whenever a survivor is on the hook, right, when you're looking for somebody else and you're not face camping, right, that 0 to 10 seconds is going to begin, right? If you're still within that range, that 20 meters within the next 10 seconds to 20 seconds, then it goes faster, and then so on, right? That's how that's going to work. So the 7-second grace period is only when you hook survivors, I believe. Yeah, hooking a survivor now applies a 7-second grace period, right? So I'm just trying to piece it together and put it into gameplay, fellas, because I'm genuinely concerned about this. I know it's taking so long to get through this, but this is the shit I'm gonna have to fucking deal with, because they're probably not gonna reverse this one like they reversed the other one when everybody's complained about it. They'll just fucking slap this and throw this through, you know, because it's the second attempt. They can't be seen to be fucking it up. It's corporate shit. Even though they are fucking it up. So, whenever I hook a survivor, there's a 7-second grace period, right? It's basically in reverse this. So, you hook a survivor to get a 7-second grace period. The 7-second grace period is basically all of this stupid shit will not kick in for that 7-second window, right? The range of that meter, detection zone is 20 meters, okay? So if I, after hooking, go within that 20 meter range, and again, you can't actually accurately see this within the game's actual, the actual gameplay, because it's not a physical thing. There's probably no visual indicator or anything, or a sound cue or anything like that to tell you you're within them 20 meters either. So you could be looking for another survivor within that situation. Then, in the background, a 10-second timer is going to start at any point whenever you go within 20 meters of this hook, right? If you're patrolling within a 20-meter radius as well, so you could be walking into that bubble from the rear side, you'd have to imagine a circle, right? If you put your hands together as a circle, right? Put your fingers together to visualize this, right? You're walking where in that particular circle that you formed with your hands. Again, you're going to have to physically do this for me to actually put clarification to it. You make a circle with your hands, right? You're walking, the hook that survivor is on is in the center of this circle, right? The center of your hands. You're walking where your thumb curves up to your other finger, right? The pit of your hand, okay? You enter that bubble where, say, your left or your right, don't matter what side, your left or your right thumbnail is, right? You enter that and you're heading diagonal towards your knuckle, right? That timer will begin. If any point in that radius, obviously, depending on where the hook is, this could be the edge of the map, right? You're walking towards your knuckle and you decide, right, I'm going to change direction and look somewhere else for another survivor, right? And you change your direction from your knuckle to the top of your index finger, right? So that entire time that you're now searching within that bubble, that timer is beginning. And obviously, in the game itself, 20 meters based on killer move speed, if you're not playing a traversal-based killer, that's going to take a fucking long time to move around in game time, right? So once you're in there for 10 seconds, that's where it's moving at normal speed, right? They're gaining anti-camp at that point for the entire time that you're in that bubble, right? Any longer than 10 seconds, it's gaining twice as fast now. So they're getting rewarded with a free unhook faster, while you're looking for survivors within that 20 meter range. Yeah. And by, obviously, 20 seconds, longer than 20 seconds, if you're there for longer than 20 seconds, that shit goes up to 4 times the speed, So we're also sort of, with the 20 meter range increase, punishing looking for survivors as well, thinking about it, based on that. So yeah, anything that's happening within 20 meters of this hook is now being actively punished, is what I'm getting from this. Right. Fucking PvP game. Fucking hell. AFK crows, decrease the time for crows to appear to 80, 100, 120 seconds. Was 120, was 140 and 190 respectively. Dead note, following the release of the updated AFK crow system, we increased the time it took to gain crows. This was much too generous, allowing survivors to avoid crows too easily. Yeah, we're dialing back the values a little bit to a middle ground between the original values and the live values. Yeah, I've said this for a while, and I've also, it got amplified as well when we did some Identity 5 content, because in Identity 5 it's a bit more aggressive, wherein Identity 5, if survivors aren't doing ciphers, which is the generators in that game, for a distinctly shorter amount of time, they will be revealed to the killer. They get literally fucking revealed. They get a little ping that shows them periodically until they start working on ciphers again. And it should be the same thing here. It should literally be the same thing here. Yeah, there is no other side objective for survivors other than fucking totems. But barely anybody does totems and chests, because you can find items in the Bloodwebber Survivor anyway, and your add-ons really fucking easily. There's no point to chests and totems. So if you're not doing the objective, if you're not doing it as Survivor, you should have your aura revealed to the killer once you've not done it for a certain amount of time. And then once you get on a generator, that gets removed and it gets refreshed. Because then it would make people do generators. And in a weird sense as well, this would probably also help new players by giving them a little prompt on the screen when they're actually exposed, saying literally just a little prompt at the top of the screen that now says the killer can now see you find a generator. And, you know, there it is. They're gonna then this new player's gonna think, oh shit, fucking hell, they can see me. I'm gonna go and get on a generator, you know, to remove this effect that they can see me, you know. You know. Now we have to wait 120 seconds. I don't know why there's tiers to it though. Oh yeah, it's 1, 2, and 3 crows in it. Yeah. Sure. Content killer updates. The shape. Slaughtering Strike's camera controls are now identical to regular camera controls. I hope this means that you can now 180 and not 175 degrees suspiciously around you know, loops that you need to 180 around. Cenobite. Don't really know why we're touching him, considering the license is dead, but okay. Survivors with the endurance status effect cannot be restrained by a possessed chain. Fuck, you know. We're nerfing a killer that we've lost the license to, fellas. Fuck me. They've noted the ability to bind survivors who are just unhooked and under the endurance status effect could feel quite oppressive. Why? Why? Actually, why? Because if you bind a survivor who's got endurance, he still has to M1 them, and he still has to wipe his weapon. They still get the sprint burst from endurance. They're still going to make it to that other pallet. They're still going to have that other chase, and they're still going to waste the time in doing so. So fucking why? This change aims to make the possessed chain less effective and targeting recently unhooked survivors. Yeah, just lay it on your fucking sleeve. You don't want killers to be mean in the PvP game. Fucking hell, dude, that's fucking wild. The fact that we've literally done that to a killer that's had the license removed and you can't even buy it anymore as well. Fucking hell, dude. Actually insane. The Skull Merchant increased the drone rotation. This was the Skull Merchant changes, wasn't it? Increased the drone rotation speed to 105 degrees a second, was 95. That's basically base kit rotor. I think it's just literally called Rotor, was it? Rotor something. One of her add-ons. It should just be base kit, to be honest. Like a lot of things. Increase the hindered status effect from getting scanned to 10% was 8%, so that's a buff. Decrease the deploy drone cooldown to 7 seconds was 10 again, so that's a buff. Decrease the undetectable duration after deploying a drone to 6 seconds was 8 seconds with nerfing her. Again, when she's literally fucking F tier. Remove the fast fault immunity to scan lines, that's good. For every 2.5 seconds spent standing underneath a drone, survivor gains 1 lock-on. Was instant, that completely destroys a power. Decreased killer detection range for the drone. Now only rises when colliding directly with the Skull Merchant. Yeah. Yeah. So, for every 2.5 seconds spent standing underneath a drone, the survivor gains 1 lock-on. Yeah, goodbye power. And also we've just randomly shaved 2 seconds off her stealth play, and the stealth build that she was having, the way I used to play her as well, because I just preferred the stealth side of the gameplay than anything else. We just got 2 seconds shaved off that, basically. Skull has dropped fairly significantly in terms of kill rate and lethality. Yeah, because that was intentional. You literally killed her for Twitter. Don't even fucking pretend in this first sentence, man. Oh my fucking god. This fucking annoys me, this dude. This actually annoys me. They literally, what they did was everybody started whinging and crying on Twitter again about this killer because some fucking poxy comp team that's apparently supposed to be the best team in the world got 3-gen'd against her, right? And then fucking it was painted as this narrative, you know, that she was, you know, you might as well just give up whenever she 3-gens and all this kind of shit when literally she doesn't fucking do anything other than stand next to generators. So save a generator at the back of the map and then start just doing the gens in her face. There is 4 of you alive and you can infinitely heal while there is 4 of you alive on comms, right? And even as solos, find each other, heal, and you eventually win the war of attrition. It's as simple as that. Fucking skill issue. These buffs aim to make drones a bigger threat and bring her up a little bit. No, they don't, because you've literally just killed her entire fucking power for 2.5 seconds spent underneath a drone. The survivor gains lock-on, and that was instant. Additionally, we've decreased the cooldown to deploying drones and consequently decreased the duration of undetectable to keep some downtime between her undetectable status effect when standing underneath a drone. Survivors would get instant lock-on, which felt like a bug whenever it happened. The gradual increase of lock-on will feel more natural and provide feedback to the survivor that something bad is happening to them. Oh, fucking hell, man. Do you know the weird, funny thing? I mean, it's not funny. It's actually very fucking depressing. As somebody that genuinely wants Evolve to be revived. The ASIM that actually put the ASIM genre on the map initially. And then this game swooped in like a fucking vulture when it died. And we've gone literally nowhere since. If that game was ever to be revived, I don't even want to think about it, to be honest, because they'd be literally, the entire screen would be lit up like a fucking Chinese website. Like literally saying, the monster's coming, it's over there, it's feeding over there, it's coming over there, it's attacking, it's sniffing in this direction. Oh shit, don't go near it, you know? Fucking hell. That's fucking hilarious, man. The gradual increase of lock-on will feel more natural and provide feedback to the survivor at the cost of the killer's entire fucking power that something bad is happening to them. Fucking hell, man. People laugh at me when I say PvP gaming's dead. Oh, we fell so fucking far. We fell so fucking far. I'm telling you, man. February 15th, 2015. Evolve's released. 6-7 months. 6-7 months of just bliss. Fucking bliss, you know? People manned up. They died in the video game against monsters. They lived with it. They got on with it. They queued next. They adapted. They adapted to certain monsters. Monster players adapted to hunter strategies. Barely anybody complained. Nobody was begging to have their hand held. And then one night, ladies and gentlemen, as I've said this numerous times on camera, because it's something I'm slowly being convinced by the fabric of reality happened. I went to sleep one night and I woke up in an alternate timeline where everything just went wrong overnight in this genre. Overnight, it went wrong. Evolve suddenly started to die. Suddenly died. And then this shit occurred. This appeared. This fucking waste of a genre appeared. And we've gone nowhere for 9 years. Fucking done with this shit, dude. I'm really fucking done with it. Lastly, we reduced the drone's sensitivity to their mistress. Oh, fucking hell. To make sure they are always ready to scan survivors during chases in tight spaces and don't send unintentionally. Yeah, but now she's not going to scan them in chase because it takes them 2.5 seconds to fucking scan them. So she puts a drone down, right? And any survivor with an IQ, fucking old W, away. Go. Just leave. Just leave. Run to one of the very readily available, numerous masses of fucking pallets that have been sprinkled all over the maps. Rinse and repeat. Play your fucking game. Killer add-on updates, original pain, Cenobite, when a survivor breaks free from possessed chain, reveal their aura for 8 seconds. That's a rework. I don't know what that originally was. I don't play Cenobite. Why are we randomly fucking reworking that? It's got to have been something to do with fucking... I don't even know. There's an add-on for me. Here we go. There's an add-on for Larry. He is my main, or was my main. We're about to be a fucking blight on nurse main, I think. Soma family photo was used around his release, but now it wasn't that good, to be honest. The only things that you really run on Larry these days for me is plant fibers and construction tool. Because Construction Tool is unironically one of the best aura add-ons in the game. Because literally every time they pick an EMP up, you can see their aura for like 6 seconds. It literally just tells him where they are. And he can literally just fire a pod in the general area, if he's not too far away. Slipstream of Survivor inflicts the hindered status effect for 6 seconds, was 3 seconds. That's a buff. Inflicts the deep wound status effect if the survivor is injured. That's a buff. That's a universal buff. I don't think it's still not viable over... It's not enough to replace fibers and tool, I think. Thinking about that. It's a buff. It's a buff on both sides because it's obviously the top one's obvious, 3 seconds extra of hindered, but the bottom one where it inflicts deep wound, that's a buff that's been removed. Because this basically just gives them fucking haste. We're made for this. And any other kind of effects relating to deep wound. Yeah. Deep wound doesn't fucking mean anything. It literally doesn't mean anything. To remove that, that's actually just a buff overall. I thought they'd have nerfed it. Both of these add-ons were notorious for their ability to disable the endurance status effects survivors get when they are unhooked. Right, I can't comment on original pain, and I can't really comment on Soma, to be honest, because I've never really used it beyond the release. These changes aim to remove this ability to bypass the protection post Unhook, yeah, so they've just removed it to make it hand older. Killer perk updates, here we go, furtive chase. So whenever your obsession is hooked, you gain one token up to 3, 4, or 5. For each token, decrease your terror radius by 10%. When your obsession is unhooked, the obsession transfers to the rescuer. That was always the same. Yeah, so you used to get haste whenever you were hooked survivors with this. So this is just only, and I say only for the reasons I did the rant above about the not factoring in the haste because of blight, nurse and ghoul and fast killers, you know, all that kind of stuff, because it doesn't mean anything to them. Basically all they've done is they've basically made furtive chase literally just dog shit and nothing else, because the haste that would be combined with the bloodlust bonus, the haste that would be combined with the bloodlust bonus would actually help M1 killers, or just slow killers, non-traversal based killers essentially. But now, no, we can't have that. So it's now, for each token, decrease your terror radius by 10%. So it's a 50% at max tokens every time if you get 5 hooks as well on the obsession. 5 hooks on the obsession for half of a terror radius, which is still dog shit, because people can just use the fucking eyes, you know, the bifocals that Mother Nature gave them, to see where the killer is. So, no, complete dog shit. Survivor perk updates. Here we go. So this will probably just be buffs across the board. Babysitter. After unhooking a survivor, see the survivor and killer's aura for 30 seconds. So 30 seconds of wall axe for no downside whatsoever. Borrowed time. Survivors you unhook gain the ability to fully recover from the dying state for the next 100 seconds. Right. So you can give other teammates unbreakable. Depends how fast it is. For the next 100 seconds. And that doesn't disable either. If they go down again, they get healed. Anything like that. They can just get literally for 100 seconds, you can revive yourself off the ground. Conviction exists. Unbreakable exists. Base kit unbreakable now exists. Shit like We're Gonna Live Forever exists for very fast revives off the ground. All that kind of stuff. So there's even more shit now that could be in play to get them off the ground as well. Entry-level PvP gaming. Breakdown. After you are unhooked, the hook breaks for 90 seconds. Was 180 seconds, that's a positive change. After you are unhooked, increase the speed at which you are healed by 100% for 90 seconds. Ah, right, okay, so we correctly halved the duration of the hook breaking on it, but then we thought, hang on, we can't do that because that's only going to help the killers, so let's just slap We'll Fucking Make It on top of it as well. So if we changed We'll Make It, we haven't, have we? Because that's the rest of the perks right there, it's on my screen. So yeah, we've literally just slapped We'll Make It onto Breakdown. Okay, there you go, sure. You know, Elam 100% past it. So why even fucking bother we Will Make It now? What's the point? What's actually the point? Fucking insane, man. Off the record, here we go. Removed the endurance status effect. If only everything fucking else didn't exist, we'd be on to a winner. Increased the active duration to 80 seconds. Was 40, so we've... Right, yeah, so they've removed the iframes from it. So this is just... It's the hiding of scratch marks and blood, I think. So it's now Lucky Break in hook flavour, essentially, for 80 seconds. Yeah, don't care. Happy about that change. Obviously, I'm not happy anyway because the rest of it's just been made base kit into the game anyway. So it's one step forward, two fucking back. But yeah, that's literally this right here. With off the record, these literal 3 lines, off the record, colon, and the 2 changes. I would be praising this to fucking high heaven if the rest of the game hadn't been bastardized and slowly stripped of its label of a PvP game in the same patch. So yeah. Wicked, your self-unhook attempts in the basement always succeed. That was always the same. When you are unhooked from the basement, gain 50% healing progress. Okay. Anytime you are unhooked, suppress the loud noise notifications so they don't get any loud noises off the hook. And again, like Breakdown at the top there, where we've slapped We'll Make It onto that perk, we've decided to slap a slightly smaller version of Resurgence onto Wicked. So again, what's the point of running Resurgence now? Although, actually, yeah, thinking about it, this is only 2 basement hooks. But again, it is just slapping that perk onto that as well. The survivor perks listed above are all related to Unhook gameplay. We saw an opportunity to update them, buff them, yeah, to make sure they complement the Unhook protections and increase their value proposition. Right, okay. Yeah, by just literally giving them wall hacks, insta heals, complete irrelevancy to slugging, all that kind of stuff, yeah, update them, right. Conviction changed the perk to require specifically healing another survivor to prevent the infinite looping with plot twist. Didn't even know that was a thing, to be fair. Yeah, you can still do it with your 2-man though. Tenacity re-added the ability to recover while crawling. Okay, so you can still run Tenacity to get by the no recovery while moving things. So you can probably see Tenacity on the rise. Because then you literally just... They've just... Oh, fuck me, dude. Right, okay, let me just say this now, right? So, up here... You're not going to see this because there's going to be gameplay over it. I'm just scrolling up to where they said... Where is it? Slugging updates. Don't worry, you've got gameplay to watch. Ignore me. Added a stacking speed bonus for each additional... there it is. Okay, right. Dev note. The ability to recover while crawling in the previous PTV made crawling away always the right choice. This made it difficult for the killer to find and hook survivors who were only slugged briefly. We've removed this from the base kit, so survivors must choose between staying still and recovering or crawling away so the killer cannot find them. Or, in layman's terms, ladies and gentlemen, just fucking run tenacity, mate. Absolute fucking brain dead, the dev team. Actually insane. Oversight after oversight after fucking oversight. Survivor item updates. Here we go, add-on updates. Syringes. Removed the heal over time effect. Oh, it took us what? Fucking... I don't actually know when these were added, actually. That spot on my memory is just gone. I don't think they were here when the game first came out. But it's only took us how many years to fucking get around to doing this. Removes exhaustion on use. Oh, excellent. Fucking hell. Infinite dead hards, here we come. Consumes the medkit on secondary action abuse use. Styptic agent. Removed the endurance status effect. Good. No longer consumes the medkit on secondary action use. Increases efficiency when healing yourself by 15%. That's pretty shit. So Styptic agent's dead. Syringes are probably not dead. I'm already seeing people going on about, oh, they killed syringes. Me second chance, 0 counterplay unless the killer's ranged or has traversal medkit add-ons. Oh, woe is me. It's dead. This isn't dead. You can now use this to literally dead hard. No, because you have to be hooked, don't you, for dead hard. Right, okay. There's a bit of sense going on there, actually. But you can do your sprint bursts twice, you can do your lithes twice, your balanced landings twice, your dramaturgies twice. There's probably other things I can't think of off the top of my head. Yeah, so you can use your exhaustion perks twice, basically. His medkit add-ons have been very strong for a very long time, extended chases that would have ended much sooner. Careful now, there's a bit of common sense there. We're making these changes to dial back the strength of medkits when paired with these add-ons. Right, okay. Yeah. It's definitely a step in the right direction, as I say. Syringes, I don't think they're dead. I think they will see some use. Removing exhaustion is the reason why, at the moment, pretty much everybody's still abusing Vigil. Because that removes exhaustion. So... yeah, it's going to give you very fast uses of sprint bursts and lives and all that kind of stuff, which is probably how it's going to get used now in them kind of builds. Styptic's dead though. Styptic's fucked. Nah, you're never going to see that again. Yeah, Styptic. Good night. 15% healing efficiency, mate. Nah, gone. That's gone. Killer score events chase start increased blood point amount to 500 was 400, literally nothing. Orkin survivor increased blood point amount to 750 was 500, literally nothing. Survivor first duct increased blood point amount to 750 was 200. Okay. Survivor second duct increased blood point amount to 250 was 200, fucking nothing. Survivor sacrifice success increased blood point amount to 500 was 200. Yeah. Still barely anything this anyway. I've said for a while that blood point gains in the current game state, mate, should be just increased universally for survivors and killers. At this point in time, 9 years into this game's lifespan, are now actually nightmarish. The new player experience in terms of getting characters unlocked and getting your perks for all the characters and all that kind of stuff is just increasing blood point gains blanketly across the board. Would be just beneficial to the game as a whole, and to all the people who, you know, might have reached P100 on characters and all that kind of stuff, to that would say, oh no, you've got to grind to get to where I am, you know, all this kind of wank. Just increase the fucking blood point, the prestige cap then. Let them go to fucking 200 if they want, you know. It's not a fucking valid excuse, mate. It's just an arrogant excuse to say that I've been playing the game longer than you and all that kind of stuff, you know? No. You help the new player experience in that regard, rather than bastardising the game's design by adding in fucking second chances for all the egotistical fake fucks on Twitch that are pretending to be new at the game. Well, not pretending to be new at the game, but pleading ignorance to situations and using people that are actually new to the game as the excuse to get their survivor buffs so they can make the content, you know. So then note, when all the changes come into the killer role alongside the tunneling reduction and slugging reduction updates, we thought it was the right time to raise a few score events to encourage killers to start chases and spread first hooks at the start of the match. Mate, slander aside, literally everything aside, the character I am, taking myself out of character, you know, in this, the world is a stage antagonist that I am towards behaviour, mate. I don't give a shit about this. I really don't, mate. This is not going to incentivise me, lads. It isn't. You need to raise the BP more than that, mate. To be honest. It's like whenever they did a blood hunt for the Halloween event as well. 1.5% increase. Or 1.5 multiplier, I should say. 50% that is, basically. 50% extra BP. Not 100, not double BP for the event. 50%. Okay, no. UX, this is the UI. Don't think we need to bother with all this. Oh, hang on, environment maps, here we go. The underground complex. Adjusted the underground complex map to improve opportunities for player navigation, more palettes basically. Adjusted the underground complex map to make sure that at least one door is open on all sides of the large rooms. That's good. Just fucking put doorways literally where doorways should be, man, on this map. Adjusted the underground complex map's rift room. I think that's the room with the big upside down entrance in it, where a new access to the generator was added. A new access to the generator. The one that's on the balcony. So have they put a little staircase down the side of that glass sort of observatory place then? It's the only way I can see where, if that's the gen referring to, where it'd be. Where you used to be able to jump onto that platform where there's a totem. Or a totem can be. I don't know, we'd have to see that. Oh yeah, or even Brecker's Realm. Right, this is this is literally the only change in this entire fucking PTB that I'm actually sort of excited for. Because from what I saw of the pictures and from what I saw of the gameplay of it on the stream, it actually made it look like a fucking horror game. And I'm telling you, mate, if the fucking community starts whining about this when they start playing on Autowave and about it being too fucking dark and I can't see anything, I'm gonna fucking flip. Because it's genuinely an improvement, this fucking change to Autowaving. So we've adjusted the Autowaving Wrecker's Realm to help mitigate the overall feeling of excessive darkness. Again, I never got this, just turn your fucking gamma up. We've recalibrated textures with excessive contrast or overly dark colours to ensure a consistent level of brightness across the map. We've introduced a fog effect across the map, the best bit. We've reworked the overall lighting and adjust the hue of the realm to improve visual clarity. Yeah. So as mentioned in our recent dev note, as mentioned in our recent community stream, this is an initial test to gather player feedback. Adjustments may be made based on the feedback received, so please be sure to test this out and let us know what you think. Better fucking make it to live, dude. That better fucking make it to live. I'm fucking swear. It's the only. It makes it look like the Withered Isle with Grenville and Fallen Refuge, where they actually look like fucking horror maps. Bug fixes, audio, bots, characters, environment maps, perks. It's all stuff. It's fine. Yeah, that's going to be it. You may have noticed I do have a cold. Ladies and gentlemen, just going to mention that on camera at the end. I'll try and make edits to get rid of as much of the sniffing as I can. But yeah, there it is. 9.3.0 we made it to, fellas. The Doomsday patch. There it is. Yeah, so we're basically just going to start playing Blight and Nurse, I think. 9 years it took us, but there it is. It's the beginning of the plummet. There you go. There's the patch notes. I'll do the conclusion, fellas. The conclusion, fellas, is that it's just all dog shit and just doesn't need to exist. Quite honestly, there's only 1 or 2 changes here that's actually healthy for the game. Honestly, and I'm talking about truthfully healthy for the game in its current state. But yeah, there it is. See you on the next one.